Hi and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits, and today is Sunday, December 13th, 2015. This is episode 235. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back one more week, and if you're new, hopefully you enjoyed today's show and you will come back in the future. So, for my returning folks, you can see I am Sans Callie one more week this week. Unfortunately, she had some kind of tummy issue this morning, so she was not feeling well, down for the count, and needed to take some time and stay home and take care of herself. She's been running herself a little bit ragged, so if you have the time and you're so inclined, you can always shoot her a quick PM through Ravelry and say you miss her and you want her back. I know I do, but I always still enjoy recording for you all, even by myself. So, I have some things to show. I have a book review to do, and I have some other things to talk about and some things to recap. So, let's go right into a week in review. Taught all week. It was kind of like the last week of school, as in before winter break. This next week coming up mainly focuses on final exams, especially in my class. So my kids will be studying for the final Monday and Tuesday, and then they will be taking the written portion of their final on Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday are actual final exams. And so we do 3 classes on Thursday, 3 classes on Friday, and they'll take their multiple choice. And then I get to hang around in the afternoons on both of those days to grade exams, and if there's any kids who need to make up exams. But the end is in sight, and I need my winter break. 2 weeks will not be long enough, but it will give me a somewhat of a recharge before going into the spring semester. So it is needed. Let's just say that. So nothing really big on what was happening throughout the week. I was really tired. I've been really tired lately. So But yesterday, Saturday, we had our trunk show at Les Moutons Rouge Knittery in Bloomington, Illinois, and boy was that a blast. Such a huge turnout. I was blown away by the turnout, not only for us, but just for her shop in general. I was so glad to see her shop do so well. And so it was nonstop busy for about the first 3 hours, and then about 1 o'clock, Mrs. Shu and Yarn Hoarder were there, and Callie showed up actually, and a little bit earlier than she had planned, so we all decided to go out to lunch together. So we went to Red Robin, and it took forever to get a seat and then to get our food, so it was like a 2-hour lunch, but it was a good time, and many laughs were had, and stories were told, and I missed hanging out with my yarn peeps, so that was nice. And then today has been a rainy Sunday here. We went out grocery shopping, and I am recording for y'all, and then Andy and I are going to do inventory and reopen the shop. So that's kind of my Sunday. So let's get to the knitting. What's taking about? I have a finished object. I decided last night this needs to be done. So I finished Polyphony by Sarah Burghardt Abram, and it features Leadingman Fiber Arts Show Stealer in Copper Cloud, Eternal Kiss, and Nude Scene. I knitted on a size 5 US, which is a 3.5 millimeter. And I actually wove in the ends, but I did not trim them till after I blocked this. So this is unblocked. It is rather large. I am hoping it'll gain some length this way, which I think it will just by looking at the garter, because I'd like it to be a little bit longer. This is going to live on my mannequin living down in our living room. So it's kind of a schlanket a little bit, and I know some people are really getting into that. So I highly recommend this pattern. It would not take everybody as long as it took me. And the nice thing about the pattern is you can get 3 skeins of fingering weight yarn. Doesn't have to be Leadingman Fiber Arts. It could be different bases, and it's written to where you use every last bit if you want. I had a little bit left of the Nude Scene, just a little bit, but I felt like the stripe at the top was getting wide enough. So, and like I said, it needed to be done. So that's done, I need to wash and block this and take some wonderful photographs, and it'll also be an amazing sample for our booth for this upcoming show season. So, last time seeing Polyphony, but I highly recommend that you go out and get the pattern yourself. I believe it's a $6 Ravelry download, 5 or 6. Alright, so that's all that I finished, but I still at least had a finished object this week. So, what's performing this week? The first thing, per usual, is Portage by Melissa Shashwari. And I did work on this, I think, at least once this week. I did not have a whole lot of crafting time this week. I had a meeting after school Tuesday, and then, I'd come home, and I'd dye and reskein, and then, it is what it is. But I am knitting this out of Elizabeth LeBold Silky Wool in color number 65, which is spruce. And I think I'm at 4 inches for the collar, the garter stitch collar, and I've got to go till 6. So you can see it all bunched up there. But it is what it is. So I need to work on this. I'd like to actually be able to wear it in the winter time. And seeing as we're relatively unseasonably warm here, it is 60 degrees today, and it was about 65 yesterday in middle of December. Not complaining, though. And that's knit on a size 5, 6, and 7 US. So, and that's living in my Bags by Awesome Granny bag. The second thing I'm working on is Mix It Up by Jana Huck. And I'm doing this for a commission knit, my last and final commission knit for the local alpaca farm, which I got to see the farmers yesterday. They came to the trunk show, and it was nice, and it was good to catch up with them. So I think I only did 4 rows on the green, or the blue steel, and I got to pick up with the white. So I didn't do too much, but I've got about maybe 3 more. Well, but yeah, about 3 more white and 2 more blue steel stripes, and then I can move on to the final section, which is some color blocking at the end. So, but it took me about an hour to do 1 row to here and back, and then 1 row to here and back. It took me an hour podcast of watching the Stockinette Zombies. So, this is out of local alpaca that's been mill spun to a fingering weight. The white is natural, the blue is our blue steel colorway that I dyed, and it's on a size 3 US, which is a 3.25 millimeter. The third thing on the needles is Kirlin. This is the second one that I am doing. It is by Delusional Knitter Designs, and sorry, I'm trying to find it. I'm using Leading Men Fiber Arts Callback, our sport weight base, in the Avery colorway, and it's living in my Art and Stitch tote bag. I broke this out even though it's 60 degrees, stashing through the snow. She gifted this to me last year, and I did not have a chance to use it because it was after Christmas and things like that. So I just knew I had to break it out. You can definitely check out her Etsy shop. So I'm working on this. I just did the second elongated stitch section. There's 3 of them, so I've got 1 more to do. I've got to do another stockinette section, another elongated stitch section, and then go pretty much into the crown decreases. So that's going. You will not see this or my next project completed because they will be done this week, because next weekend I will be traveling back to Indiana for Andy's mom's side of the family's Christmas celebration. So since this is for his sister-in-law, and then I've got the toddler size that I did for our niece, you won't see them, but I will post pictures to Instagram, I'm sure, and definitely have them up on my Ravelry page so you can check them out. Alright, the last thing on my needles is my Bah Humbug socks, and I'm knitting this out of Mint Rain hand-dyed yarns. What does she call this? Sport sock in the Bah Humbug colorway, and I'm using size 2 US 2.75 millimeter needles. I am about 5 rounds away from doing the toe, And then you can see here the little green stripe, that's my ripcord for putting in the heel. And again, these are going to Andy's mom for Christmas. So I have to get this done this week as well. But I think Andy and I are going to set some time apart from working today to maybe watch a movie together. So I'll work on those and get some good progress done on that. Alright, so that's pretty much all that's on my needles. I'm not immediately casting anything else on, but I do have something in rehearsal. I told you a couple weeks ago maybe that I wanted to participate in the knit-along that the Knit Girls Super Summer Knit Together retreat is having, and that is for any patterns by Rosemary Hill, who's Romy Hill. And since I'm going to be attending and vending at SSK, I wanted to participate, and I actually had one of her patterns in my queue already, and I had yarn lined up. It was a director's interpretation of our one of our colors, which means it was an oops colorway, a one of a kind, and it was on our show stealer base. And then and that was also a short skein. And then I had a really short skein of London Fog that was only about 265 or 275 yards. Anyway, I did some research. I bought the pattern this morning, and I realized that the London Fog was not going to cut it. So I did some stash shopping and reconfiguring of projects that I have attached to each yarn that I own. I've actually attached projects to them. But I am going to be doing here very soon the Mistwiss by Rosemary Hill. And it looks like this. It's a 2-color shawl. And so the darker aubergine color in this is going to be Knit Picks palette that I had, 2 skeins that were I think I won these actually from Sock Bunny, maybe. Anyway, this is 231 yards to 50 grams, 100% Peruvian Highland wool, fingering weight, and this is in the colorway J. So I'm going to do this dark blue as the aubergine color. And then the pink color, I'm going to still use the director's interpretation, which I think was meant to be our industrial colorway, and then something happened. Plus it was a short skein, so that with that. So the more lacy section will be in the solid, and then this will be the edging. So I thought they would go well together. And I'm using stuff out of my stash. So I'll be casting that on soon. When? I don't know. I kind of really want to get some work done on the sweater, and I really want to get that shawl done for the commission knit. So we'll see. Alright, behind the scenes, what am I spinning? I did finish the first 2 ounces of the Three Waters Farm Falkland in the Cool Soil Blue Sky colorway. This was a club shipment. I am part of their top of the month club. And so I'm trying to spin this as a 2-ply fractal, a little bit thicker. So here are the first 2 ounces. If it'll focus. Maybe. There we go. So I've started the second 2 ounces, and we shall see how it goes. I'm enjoying it. And a little bit. I tend to spin usually in the morning before I go to work for about 15 minutes. So that's about all I've got in me by the time I check emails and everything, and enjoy a little bit of coffee in the morning. So, alright, so in the spotlight, what am I watching and reading? So I am watching some shows. I caught up on American Horror Story Hotel. Did I? Did I watch it this week? I don't know if I watched it this week. No, because I think I caught up right before I recorded last week, so I'm not sure. Anyway, I'll have to look at the DVR. My lady man and I are still watching House of Cards. We're in season 2. Got a little weird last night. Seemed like they were trying to push some boundaries just to push them, so whatever, to each their own, right? But we still enjoy it. I'm always amazed. I actually think about it every so often when we're watching. I'm like, there's very little real action. It's a lot of, intrigue, espionage, manipulation. And for being mostly a talking show, it's rather engaging. So I highly recommend House of Cards. I've never been a huge Kevin Spacey fan, but he is really good in this show. So it's a Netflix original. You can only get it through Netflix, unfortunately. I did finish the last half hour of the Hemlock Grove Season 3 finale. That was the show finale. I thought some of the acting choices at the end and the story, the way they kind of wrapped it up in that half hour, they pretty much wrapped up everything, were subpar. But again, that's a Netflix original as well, Hemlock Grove. There were 3 seasons. There will not be any more, but you can catch them all on Netflix. And then I started watching again. I didn't even get a full episode in last night before. I actually didn't go right to bed. I actually watched an episode of House of Cards with Andy. But I was watching Once Upon a Time, Season 2. So not very far into that. I enjoy it. Again, it's campy, but the actual conflicts are engaging. So that's on Netflix Instant as well, and I think there's still, I think Season 5 was going or is still going on, and I think that's through ABC. So, alright, I am reading some books. Again, I'm kind of keeping my recaps to when I finish books. So I finished listening to 2 books. The first is The Night Spider by John Lutz, and I thought I would quickly read the summary for you to give you a recap. It says, John Lutz is fascinated by the nighttime dangers that await women alone. In The Night Spider, he improvises a new variation on this theme with a thriller about a serial killer who preys upon women living in high-rises. With few visible means of entry, the mysterious stalker kills women while they sleep in their beds behind securely locked doors. Like his namesake, he leaves his victims wrapped in their bedsheets and stabbed repeatedly, having them slowly bleed to death with their mouths frozen in a silent scream. The few clues left on the scene point to a wall-crawling, glass-cutting predator who easily eludes the best minds on the police force. Now a determined detective must stop him before time runs out for his next victim. So I will tell you that there's kind of 2 parts to this novel, and so there's almost a story and then an extension upon the story. So I thought that was rather different and engaging. Again, I like the serial killer cop dramas. Did it blow me away? No, I think I gave it 4 stars. So, but I would recommend it. And I did listen to that through Audible. The second book that I finished was Unleashed, the V Plague, Book 1. It was a short book, about 6.5 hours. It's the Voodoo Plague series, and that's by Dirk Patton. And really quickly, the summary of that. John Chase has just arrived in Atlanta on a business trip when America experiences the worst attacks in history. Nuclear bombs destroy cities, and the widespread release of nerve gas sends the majority of the surviving population into a murderous rage. Rescuing a woman who survived the attacks, he must lead her to safety as Atlanta burns. Raging infected roam unchecked, and society disintegrates into savagery. So, I thought this was actually relatively good. I gave it about 4 stars. Again, it was campy, yes, but and extremely unbelievable. Just the way things lined up, and this woman he finds is a stripper, and she's just in a G-string when he finds her. But not only is she a stripper, she's a 4th-year medical student, so, she's there to save lives. And, not only is John just a businessman who arrived in Atlanta, but he's also a former Green Beret. So, just things lined up. If you get into zombies, this is a different take on it. It's kind of a virus / thing. One of the interesting things I thought was different about this one was that once infected, men kind of go blind and hunt due to sound and smell, and they are kind of bumbling zombie idiots, whereas the women who are infected are not blind, can see, and can move much quicker and are much stronger than the men. So, again, there's a whole series to this. I don't think there's much on Audible after this, unfortunately. I think this is the only one that they have. Yep, it's the only one that they have. So that's unfortunate, but is what it is. I did enjoy it. Would I continue with the series? Sure, I'd add one in here or there, but I definitely enjoyed listening to it to and from work. So that is what I am reading. All right, I did have a little bit of stash enhancement from yesterday. I did not buy any yarn of the 1,000 skeins of Madeline Tosh that were in her shop, and she also had Zen Yarn Garden, which was a little pricey for my sake, but and then all of her other wonderful yarns that she carries. I did pick up a few things. I got Callie's Christmas gift. She'll have to show that to you next time she comes in. But kind of where I was sitting on the couch, she had a few of these laid out, and while this is not my deal at all, one of our recent designs by Megan Sanders, the Felix hat, features one of these on top of the hat, and so I try to keep true to what the pattern looks like when I make shop samples. So I picked up one of these. This is a Lion brand pom-pom, the Le'el Pom. I don't know. It's a fun fur pom-pom, and I got it in black, so looks like a little tribble. It was only $1.99. I couldn't beat that. So, and it does come with a little elastic thingy, so you can actually kind of tie it in. I'm not exactly sure how you would put it in. It's but I'll figure it out. But you could wear it as like a hair tie or whatever, or I don't know. So I picked up one of the Fun Fur pom-poms. And then I got 4 needles. I got some new size 2s for sock knitting 2 at a time, because the 2s that I'm working on, which are the... I don't know. They're not Knit Picks. The Knitter's Pride... something. I don't know. I picked them up at Webb's when I was there years ago, and one of the needles, the join... I cannot get the yarn over it, and I have to push and push and push and maneuver the stitches and take my fingernail on the last couple of stitches to get them on to hop onto the needle, and I can't stand it. So I picked up 2 of the Addie Turbo Lace 24-inch size 2s. I do like Addie. I really do like the Hiya Sharps. She does not carry the Hiya Sharps. I was going to get Chaogu Red Lace, but she did not have 2... size 2 24-inch, which is kind of the cable length that I like. She had some 16 inches, but I thought that might be a little too short for my liking. So I picked up 2 Addie Turbo Lace in size 2 for my sport weight socks. And then I picked up 2 Chaogu Red Lace in the size 1, because I have a feeling I need to go down to size 1 for my normal sock knitting. So I picked up 2 size 1 24-inch Chaogu Red Lace. So I got some more needles, whatever. So that was my purchases yesterday. I thought I was relatively restrained. And then I wanted to do a quick book review for you. And I wanted to look up something really quick, because there is information that is different about this. I wanted to make sure that I gave it to you. Do you want to come say hi while I'm pulling up my email, Bubs? Corndog came and joined us, but they got rawhides. They were on clearance at the grocery store, so we both picked them up one. So he brought it up here, and he's going to town. Can you see? Oh, it's gross. Never mind, I don't want to see. All right, so let's quickly look up what I need to tell you about this book before I show it to you. I will tell you that there's not a whole lot I would particularly knit out of this book, but I do like some of the designs. I would say you probably are not going to be interested in knitting these unless you are in a very cold climate, as they will be very warm objects. But I'm going to be reviewing today Modern Lopi 1, and it's by Lars Rains. He's the designer behind Modern Lopi, and he's self-published the first in a series of books that are updated interpretations of the classic Lopi sweaters. So he's interpreting off of the original designs. So PDF, I'll tell you the pricing. The PDF version is $19.95, and the soft cover version is $27.95. Hardcover is $34.95. So if you're looking for like a coffee table book, and I will be offering a ebook out to you guys at the end. So I'll open up a thread and you can tell me what pattern from the book you like most. And yeah, so I will keep that open until next Monday night, because I probably won't record till Monday night next week, the 21st, because I'll be out of town all next weekend and I won't be back till late Sunday night, back from Indiana. Alright, so this is pretty much just a set of patterns. There's an introduction from the designer. Here's the cover, Modern Lopi 1. And I really do love this cover sweater. I will tell you that almost all the sweaters in here are extremely oversized. And there is a nice photo index, though, at the front. And it is clickable. I'm using iBooks just because it's easier for me to navigate through. But it's not, I don't think it lets me click through there, but does it? Oh, it does. So the first book I want to talk about is Asymptote, and this is the cover sweater. Now, one thing you're going to notice about Modern Lopi, it's not the softest wool, and if you can tell, see his shoulder there? It is a fuzzy wool. Now, this top-down raglan piece, I believe, it's a traditional Icelandic pullover with a yoke design that, yeah. So, I just knit one of these last year. It doesn't look good on me. I think I'm a little too broad, but I do really like this design. The other thing is, I'll say there's a lot of excess room in these sweaters, but again, you're looking at the warmth and layers and things like that you could wear underneath. So I really did enjoy that, and of course these all feature their Lopi yarns. I do like the little bit of detail at the cuffs and the bottom. I don't know if I need to draw attention to that area myself, but the model isn't bad looking, so that works well for him, I guess. Oh, I'm not used to using iBooks, sorry. Alright, the second pattern is the Asymptote women's pullover. So there's a version for each. And here's a close-up. There are at least several shots for each, which is nice. So it's very similar to the men's. And that comes in sizes from extra small all the way to extra, extra large to fit bust circumference 34 inch to 54 inch. And it's supposed to have 2 to 3 inches of positive ease intended. So at least they're telling you how much positive ease should be intended in the book. And it says it's shown in a size medium with 3 inches of positive ease. So I guess from there you can kind of assume the model's size, which is always appreciated. And this is by the Istek Let Lopi, which is 100% Icelandic wool. Alright, there's a hat in here I didn't really care for. This pattern, I'm going to show you this only because I don't care for the look of it, but again, this is traditional Icelandic sweaters. So, again, for me, I don't care for the look, but this is Gimli. It's named after a small town in Manitoba, where an annual Icelandic festival is held. So here's that, and at least there are some men's sweaters in here. But I feel like... Sorry, it's not focusing. Come on. Why doesn't it want to focus? There we go. I feel like there's so much excess fabric on him. And this is usually an issue that I already have with sweaters. But not only that, I feel like there's the armholes look very big. And the Icelandic shaping does not do much for the shoulders. There seems to be excess puckering, and then it just kind of drops down. But again, that's because of the sweater shaping of the Icelandic sweater. So, that's probably definitely what they were going for. I'm not a huge fan of that shaping myself, and I had to knit a sweater like that to realize that. So, Hildur is a women's sweater. I don't mind the color work, actually. It kind of looks plaid-ish. And again, that's from bust sizes 34 to 54 inches. So that's not bad. Definitely a wide range. And again, that's supposed to have 2 1/4 to 3 inches of positive ease. So again, a lot of positive ease in these sweaters. Here's almost dropped the iPad. Here's a close-up of the color work at the top. But then they also give you a nice little close-up of the color work at the sleeves, which is nice. I actually didn't mind this one. It was a little more reserved, I think. This is Katla. It's one of the many volcanoes that dot the Icelandic geography. And this is sized from small to extra large to fit bust circumference 34-inch to 52-inch with 2 inches of positive ease intended. And it's a big, oversized cabled sweater with a turtleneck. Now again, here's my only thing. It's big, it's bulky, I like the cables. She's not a big model, and it just makes her look big and bulky. But again, if you're in a very cold climate, this is what you're going to want to stay warm. Now, if you're into making it, I think you can even make it into a dress here. They have a big bulky one. This might be a little bit different if you weren't wearing pants with it and you were wearing just leggings. This is another one that's done a little bit longer. But you can see just how rolled up those cuffs are. And it's big and oversized and kind of, it's also a little bit of fashion friendly. Or fashion forward. The next pattern is Hornstrandir, and this is a scarf. Doesn't blow me away. Again, I know Lopi can be a little bit not next to skin. So again, I wouldn't wear it something as that I want really tight and stuffed down my jacket, and wear it more as an accent piece, such as what they're showing. But they do have a shawl called Winter Blueberries. It's kind of meant to be a companion piece to that. It's a narrow shawl, definitely of the heavier weight. There we go. Just got to get it up close and then it will focus. It's not used to this. I haven't done a book review in so long. I did actually kind of like this hat. This is West Fjords. I can't say Fjords. West Fjords. There we go. That's how you say it. Anyway, it's a region in the northwest of Iceland that possesses some of the most beautiful vistas that the author has ever seen. So I kind of liked this hat. It'd be interesting to see there. It kind of sticks up a lot. If I could get it to slouch, but I haven't knit with Lopi to be able to tell you whether it, if you could block it to slouch or if it's kind of going to go that way. It does have 3 sizes, small, medium, and large, to fit head circumference 18, 20, and 22 inch, with a 1/2 inch to 1 1/4 inch positive ease intended. So, I'm just trying to figure out. I've got a relatively large head, so I don't know if it would fit large-headed people. But I do like the color combo that they show here. Whoops. Don't want my screensaver on. I do like that color combo. And was there anything else I really wanted to show you? There were a couple other designs that I was... Well, I guess I could show you the last one. This is Monsina, and I don't know. It's got a lot of color going on. Again, a lot of positive ease. You can see this in her sweater. Alright. There we go. But if you get into the color work, you can see all that blousing happening in the front. So, overall, I'd say it's very much a niche book. I think it would be an interesting coffee table book if you're interested in that. Or if, you've been to Iceland and you have some sort of connection to the clothing that's produced there and the typical Icelandic sweaters. Now, would I probably knit anything out of that? Probably not. I'm just being honest for my personal taste and namesake. But, I do reviews to show you all different takes on things and what's new and happening in the knitwear industry. So, again, you can definitely check out Modern Lopi 1 on Ravelry. Again, the digital version you can buy through Ravelry for $19.95, and you can get, and I'll link the website as well where you can get the softcover or hardcover versions. I'll do that on our show notes, which can be found at dramaticknits.com. And I'd like to thank Lars for working with his PR person to offer a copy up for you guys. So again, you can go over and tell me what pattern you really like, and you can win a copy of the Modern Lopi 1. Alrighty then. I do want to tell you that we do have a coupon code currently for Mint Rain hand-dyed yarns for 10% off your order, good through the end of the year, December 31st. You can use the coupon code DRAMATICKNITS, all capital letters, 10, DRAMATICKNITS 10, all one word, all in caps, when you check out from her Etsy store, and that'll save you 10% on your order. So thank you, Katie, for giving us that coupon code. I do want to remind you that we do have our toy knit-along currently going on. That means that any toys that you started on or after November 1st and finish on or before December 31st, you can post a picture of your finished object into our Toy Knit-Along FO No Chatter thread, and that'll get you an entry into our drawing for some wonderful prizes. What those will be, I don't know. We haven't selected those yet. I think Callie might have some. But if you use any base of Bleeding Men Fiber Arts in any part of your toy, you can post the FO picture twice to get 2 entries into the drawing. And you must be a member of the group in order to be eligible to win. And I think that's pretty much it. I do want to show you a new awesome pattern that has been released this week, which features Leading Men Fiber Arts. And the designer, who is Megan Williams of Stockinette Zombies fame, gifted both patterns to me. They're 2 separate patterns. One's for a hat, one's for mittens. And they're called the Wander Hat and Mittens. Again, 2 separate designs, and they are color work hat and mittens. And if you do follow her on Instagram, which her Instagram name is Just Run Knit, she has given a coupon code for people to get one of the patterns for free, and I think that's good through December 25th, Christmas Day. So here's a picture of the hat and mittens. I need to hold it with the other hand. And I really like this colorwork design. Whether I will do it, it'll be up to my mental capacity to get these sample knits done. Why won't it focus? There we go. Whether I will farm it out to sample knitters, I am not sure, but I think they're beautiful. She did use our royalty colorway, and which is the one that's the green and purple. The purple is the royalty, and so she calls for our DK weight. You can get a pair of mittens and a hat out of 2 skeins of our DK weight, which is 250 yards of superwash merino. So if you buy 2 colors that go well together, you can get a pair of mittens and the hat, I believe, out of both. So, yeah. So definitely check that out. Check out our Instagram feed and, get one of the patterns for free and then go over and purchase the other one. So she's been very generous and offered her patterns up for us to use for kits and things like that. So we may have some kits available next show season for that. We'll have to think. We have a lot of good ideas, I think, in the works, but it's just a matter of making them come to fruition. Alright, I do want to remind you that anything you finish in the month of December to enter into our December 2015 Race to the Finished Object contest. We have 2 wonderful prizes. The first is a skein of Mint Rain hand-dyed yarns, her self-striping sock in the Depths of Space colorway. And the second is a pattern from our featured designer, who is Megan Sanders. So you can find links to the shop and pattern pages for both of our wonderful donators for the December Race to the Finished Object contest on our show notes, which can be found at dramaticknits.com. So thank you, Katie and Megan, for donating this month. Alright, I think we come pretty much to the end of our show. I don't have much to talk about in Center Stage. Like I said, Andy and I are going to work on inventory. I think I can hear him starting in the background to start working on checking inventory so we can reopen the shop. We will continue to add things to the shop as we can. We're already stockpiling yarn to get ready for next year's show season and trying to come up with a game plan to make sure that we have as much yarn as possible to have on hand at each and every show that we are going to be at this year. So we've already got 7 on the docket for next year, and they're linked on our show notes, dramaticknits.com, and we have a couple more out there that we're waiting to hear back from. So it's going to be a busy year, but we're really excited about it. So like I said, some new ideas coming into the works. We'll see how many of them pan out for us. So nothing really to show you this week, no new shows to announce, but you can always find the shop at leadingmenfiberarts.bigcartel.com. And please leave a star rating on iTunes if you're watching on iTunes, or a written review. I'd appreciate it. If you're watching via YouTube, please hit the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. I'd greatly appreciate that as well. And speaking of Leading Men Fiber Arts, you can follow me on Instagram as Leading Men Fiber Arts and join our Ravelry and Facebook page, both for Leading Men Fiber Arts. And if you haven't, join our Ravelry group for Dramatic Knits Video Podcast Group. So, until next week, when I really hope Callie will be with me next Monday night. So, we'll see. We may be a little punchy. We usually are punchy when we record in the evenings. But until then, I hope you knit something dramatic.